the defense.
Fuck. That was brutal.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Split the Defense, Leafs the Post Game, presented by Laforest Electrical Contractors, serving Kingston and the surrounding area since 2004. I'm Jordan Webster with Craig Pearce and producer Ted Evans in the booth. Game 49. Leafs face the red-hot Blue Jackets, who are supposed to suck, but apparently don't suck, and made the Leafs look like they suck. Or did the Leafs do that to themselves? Find out now on Split the Defense. So, CP, what's your overall takeaway on this game besides the fact that it was shit?
You know what? My one takeaway is I'm never going to forget this game. And for the only fact that Matthews tried to play hockey with a goalie stick. Other than that,
right,
man,
we can start there.
Like, forget about the entire game. Literally throw away the tape. But that was funny.
All right. So Matthews picking up that stick was probably top 5 hilarious brain farts I've ever seen watching hockey. Right up there with Kasperi Kapanen throwing the stick at the puck. Like, just like absolute brain fart. Like, he knew it as soon as he picked it up. He's like, well, he's got I can't do that. Right? You know what happened in his brain. Like, you could see it without any words. You knew what Matthews was thinking. That was stupid. And it's kind of dumb that he got a penalty for it. Now, if his stick was broken or available, then I understand getting a penalty, but it wasn't. So I don't know in that situation, like, fucking what's the actual advantage of having a goalie stick? Like, yeah, it may be better to like collect the puck and pass, but it certainly isn't better to shoot. And like, that's Austin Matthews' bread and butter. So like, I don't know, like, I don't know.
I can think of a few
you don't get me
players.
player specific, but like, it's got to be up to the ref and intention. Like, I just feel like that shouldn't have been a penalty. I think it was kind of dumb.
Yeah, I can think of a few players that could benefit from a goalie stick. One is Tanev, probably Benoit, maybe Matthew Nyes in front of the net. You know, there's a few guys, but otherwise, no, it's not an advantage. I mean, it's kind of silly, but I mean, I get why it's a penalty. If his stick wasn't available, it's a penalty. If it's not, it's a penalty. Like, it's just, I think it's great.
It's still kind of dumb though, right? It is kind of dumb. No.
I mean, I think that it's not dumb as that you should get a penalty for that, because like everyone, as soon as the goalie dropped his stick, they would just pick it up, you know. But I think it's good that it was offsetting. You know,
just trade him. Yeah.
Oh, literally, as soon as the goalie dropped, I would just dive for his stick and skate away with it, you know. So, but yeah, like, I don't know. I honestly, just the picture of Matthews holding the stick and actually looking like he's gonna try and make a play, that will go down in my memory forever. You know?
I hope somebody snapped a really good picture of that.
Oh yeah. I already saw Jesse Blake has a post on Twitter, and it's a perfect picture of Matthews looking like he's gonna go for a deflection or something with a
hockey card picture.
Oh, yeah. It's a hockey card for sure. Yeah. I mean, it's hilarious. I love it. Honestly, it's like, especially when
t-shirts with that on it.
Yeah. The other reason you can throw away the game tape is because the only valuable film to me is the Ryan Reeves fight. And so, like, yeah, you could call this episode the one game Ryan Reeves fought, or the game where Matthews played with a goalie stick, because like those two mean something to me. You know, I love a fight, so just, you know, Ryan Reeves going with probably the toughest fight in the league, maybe. I mean, I guess there's, you know, other guys out there, but that's a tough fight for Ryan Reeves, especially first one of the season. And yeah, so like, honestly, the two big moments for me. The other, like, I honestly couldn't care less about this game and losing. I don't know what it is about tonight, but to me, it felt like the Leafs were playing pretty decent. They came out and looked hot, like they came to play against Columbus, and absolutely nothing seemed to go their way. And it felt like when we played Columbus in the bubble series, and we just couldn't get a puck back past Korpisalo. But I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't feel like that exactly to me. I just felt like this is a stupid game, you know. Like I honestly was glad they pulled the goalie, like with 8 minutes left. Like, a lot of people are
you
gonna
fucking kidding me?
honestly, I could, because I was just like, whatever. They're not going
Okay,
to
whoa,
score
whoa, whoa,
three.
whoa! I didn't even get to talk about the Ryan Reeves fight. All right, slow the
Okay,
fuck
yeah,
down
go ahead.
here,
Go
okay?
ahead. Yeah.
Ryan Reeves gets his fight. That's awesome. That's great. But Matthew Olivier told Luke Fox that he saw Arbor Jacki wave off Ryan Reeves on Saturday, and in quotes, Matthew Olivier says, "You hear all these things about timing. I don't believe in that personally. I think there's never a bad time for a fight. So what is timing? It's not an exact science. I don't believe in that." You could tell that Olivier gave him the fight. Like, it was like, yeah, you want to go like, yeah, here, I'll help you out. I heard you needed some help. Here, I'll help you out. They didn't hate each other. That was, it was a good fight. He was big. He was tough. They clocked each other. They were smashing each other over and over and over. But, like, there was no hate there. And, like, half those punches were pulled and they didn't even land. And it was just kind of half-assed. For Ryan Reeves to have a fight, like, I'm glad he has somebody to do that. But it, like, just goes to show that, like, a guy like Ryan Reeves is dead in this game. Like, you can still fight, but you can't be a guy who's going to go out there and kick ass. Like, you have to be able to play hockey too. Like, it's almost like you're only going to find guys who will fight you 2-3 times a year at this point. Because who else is going to take him on except for a guy that would, knocked him off his feet on the first punch, and then Ryan Reeves gets up and continues to swat back and a bunch of punches land. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't an actual fight between the two guys. There was no emotion there. There wasn't anything that was actually going to be brought out of the game because of that. Like, it was literally just for Ryan Reeves. And that kind of bothered me. It's like, yeah, good for you, Ryan. I'm glad you got your, I don't even know how to put it. Like, you got your cookies. That's a good way to put it. And he had a good breakaway after. Mm-hmm. Like, that was awesome. He went right to his feet. But I just think it was all kind of dumb and staged.
I mean, it's not just for Ryan Reeves. I mean, that shit's for me too. Like, I didn't fall in love with hockey just because it's like a finesse game. Like, I'd watch soccer if that was the case. And so, like, yes, I'm here for the odd scrap. And like, if that's the only reason I have Ryan Reeves on your
to my
team.
Scraps. I don't want two guys being like, "Hey, do you want to fight? Yeah, okay, let's go. Props. Like, yeah, let's fight. Like,
yeah,
no, that's MMA. You go watch UFC for that. I want two guys who hate each other so bad that they have to punch it out. That's the fights that I want to see in hockey.
Sure, but like you said, that's just going away and dying. So like, yeah, I'm going to relish in a moment. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to relish in a moment that there's a fight. And I love it that someone gave Ryan Reeves the chance. I love that there's a guy out there that is willing to do that. And so like, yes, it's not the best fight in the world. There's no question, but it's a fight. And I think that is something missing from hockey, is that type of physicality. And sure, there's probably a young bunch of Gen Zers or whatever you call them that are upset, and yes, the head protocol and everything like that. Sure, I get it, but from an entertainment point of view, I like it.
Top
and so
notch.
Like, yeah, tonight it was great. I was like, hey, if we're gonna have a crappy game against Columbus, at least there was something. I stood on my feet for that. And so if like, that's my point, is like, yes, I agree with you on everything, that the best fights in hockey are two guys that hate each other, or like there's some sort of a scrimmage and it breaks out.
They don't even have to hate each other for good, just in the moment.
In the moment, in front of the net, whatever it happens to be, and it breaks out. Yeah, I agree. Those are the better fights. But I still love two heavyweights showing down, and I wouldn't say that Reeves got like knocked off his feet. There's definitely a slip involved there. But yeah, I loved it. Two guys just swinging, and yeah, there's probably 2 or 3 that landed each way, half-assed, but yeah, I enjoyed it. That's all I can say.
I enjoyed it too. I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed that too. But I kept yelling at the TV, "Punch him, take him down!" And you knew they weren't going to. They just got tired, and they just
each of them
there's
landed
no emotion to it. Nobody
one.
wanted to. Oh, at least I think Ryan Reeves landed 3 solid ones.
Yeah,
looking back at the replay.
Any solid punch from Ryan Reeves or Olivier that's gotta hurt, like.
But didn't phase them.
No, that's what I mean.
Yep,
two tough motherfuckers.
Yep,
yeah, and in the third period, they're standing next to each other, being the referees, basically splitting up OEL and whoever it was JVR. the two 3-lettered name guys. Yeah, and so like they're the two guys splitting that up, stand next to each other. So yeah, there's no hatred there for sure.
As if, of course, JVR comes back to town and scores a goal. That's just like anytime there's a
JVR.
former Leaf and you see it, like it's a good chance. Like it's what is it? What would you put it? Probably a 1 in 3 chance that an old Leaf comes back to town and scores a goal.
Yeah, like the problem is there's so many people that like either like everyone's going like, oh, that guy's from Toronto, of course he scored, and that guy plays on the Leafs, of course he scored. And like the thing is there's a ton of NHL players that are from Toronto, and like there's a lot of
but Adam Fantilli had 70 people watching him play tonight.
Yeah, but so he's going to play better.
People.
Yeah, he's going to play better than he does when he's playing against the Islanders and no one's in the building. So like the JVR
Everybody
one
plays better
those
against
are
the Leafs.
Yeah, of course. If you're just bringing your best because the most amount of eyes are on you. So yeah, I just love JVR though. Do you love JVR? Because I really do.
miss JVR.
Man,
I miss
I
his
hated
net front.
Yeah, when he left, I was like, who's ever gonna replace that guy? Like he is just the absolute best case scenario for this team. And then we signed John Tavares, and it was like, oh yeah, right, that guy's really good in front of the net too. But yeah, I don't know. I just always missed him from the moment he never signed here. I was just like, oh man, I just loved all the goals he collected in front.
Yeah, JVR had that. Like he used to do his warm up where he used to put the puck on the line and flick it off the crossbar and down. Right, like that was insane coordination that guy had on the goal line. The way he could spin his feet and tuck the puck, like he was on another level. John Tavares is good, but JVR he's got that elite skill in front of the net. Okay, let's get to pulling the goalie with 8 minutes left. Do you want to say your piece or do you want me to start?
Yeah, I just thought. I didn't care. I don't know. I thought like in the third period going into it, my emotions about this game were so like just throw it out. And I didn't like, I just thought it was a cursed game from that point. So like we got one and I didn't think that we were getting 3 more. And so like to pull the goalie and maybe build on some momentum, I wasn't like too bothered by it. Go ahead. But
pulling the goalie with 8 minutes left though, like that's certainly a fucking call. Like, Berube, what are you thinking? That 5th goal, that empty net goal, that killed any momentum that the Matthews goal had just brought. You could see it. It just died. Everything. It may as well have just ended there. The game could have just been over. Nothing else happened after that. Like, did Berube feel Hildeby was so bad that they'd just be better without a goalie? Like,
I mean,
I don't get it.
He almost was. Hildeby was pretty useless in that tonight.
I get that.
I agree.
But like you're telling me,
you're trying to like, if it's any important game, if it's like any playoff game, any rivalry game, I agree with you.
8 minutes?
Yeah, I agree.
Fucking
it's
minutes?
Crazy.
That's a long time, man. Like you're telling me in the same game that this group, your top group, your best players, gave up a shorthanded goal with a goalie in the net. You're gonna put out no goalie. And with 8 minutes left and think, yeah, this should work. Like, what kind of galaxy brain shit is that? I mean, I get it. I've said it before. Coaches get their jobs because they are smarter than the population, right? They don't do the obvious stuff, and that's what makes them NHL-worthy coaches and not just the next guy coaching junior hockey or house league and his son. And it's literally this crazy-ass shit that drives me up the wall. 8 fucking minutes? 8? Like, do you know how many chances they could have? Like 4, okay? It's like 5 is like, all right, well, I can see. 8? Man, like they could have had 3 or 4 opportunities more. Maybe they could have even scored 2 goals in between 8 and 5 minutes with a goalie in the net. Had they just gotten that one save. They had momentum at that time. Like they just scored a goal. You could see it going to their feet. They started to get possession again. They started to work it in. Like the glass wall behind Merzlikins was broken now, so pucks would actually go past him. Like it was starting to come together, and then he pulls the goalie with 8 minutes left, and that empty net goal goes in, and it deflated. It's just over.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're putting a little bit too much into like that they were going to come back with it being 4-1 with it. Yeah, I mean, I
I
think
mean, maybe they weren't, but like, it killed
Yeah.
any chance to. Like,
for sure it did. That moment killed it, no question. I didn't think that they were coming back, so I think that's why I don't care as much. But if you had a feeling that this was an important game and they were coming back, then yeah, I think it was a brutal call. I don't think it's a galaxy brain call. I think it's just a coach that's like a little frustrated with the
8 minutes
game.
though.
No, yeah, you're just harping on that a little too much, but like I think that
Crazy.
it's just a
That's
guy
long
kind
time.
of not galaxy braining. It's just he's frustrated with the game, just like I am as a fan, and it's just like a fuck it, bring him in. You know, half he sucks, and half let's just go for it, and who cares? You know, it's Columbus.
That's just a nuts
on
decision.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's a little too like much for me as far as like it's a big deal. You know, like I'd think of big deals when it's like important games and everything. Thursday or Wednesday
Certainly
or whatever
not
it
that
is
big of a
against
deal.
Columbus,
But if you're gonna-
I'm just like, whatever.
I don't know if I've ever, like, what is he, Patrick Waugh? Like, I don't
He's
know
the
if
guy
I've
that
ever
started all
seen-
this.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen this happen, and it was just
Once,
mind blowing. I was like, oh, they pulled the goal. It must be game almost over. And he checked the clock. I was like, 7 minutes and 45 seconds, and
I
then
think it was
boom,
like
they get scored on.
8:23 or something. Like,
Well, that's
it was-
when I noticed.
Yeah,
Then it was
right.
like, oh, it was like
Yeah.
the game must be almost over. And I finally got checking the score. I was like, what the fuck? There's still 8 minutes left in this game. Like, that was insane. Like, I just had
Yeah.
never seen that before. And if they ever had a chance, like, I don't think 8 minutes was the mark to pull the goalie. I do agree with trying to pull it and trying to get a chance, but like, I don't think that. I think what Craig Berube was trying to do was add to the momentum that the Matthews goal just gave them, right?
Right. Yeah.
But that didn't add to it. What
You had
they
30
needed to do was
seconds
go
to
and sustain
capitalize.
that pressure. They just
Yeah.
scored with a goalie in the net. They didn't need a goalie out of the net to score the last one. So let's see if we can do that again when we still have almost a half a period left.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
Like, I've
I
seen
agree.
this.
Like,
I've
Patrick
seen
Waugh
this team
screwed
score
all
2
this
goals
up.
in less than a minute. I can say that because I've watched it with my own eyes. 2 goals in less than a minute. Do you remember that?
Yeah. I mean,
It was
that
the
just
one where they
happened
scored
just-
with 1 second left or half a second left, like last season or the season before.
I was gonna say they scored in 24 seconds. Like this, like
No, at
3
the end of
games
the
ago.
game.
I know,
at the
but
end
just
of the
like-
game, yeah.
Yeah,
With like
but I'm
1
just
minute
saying,
left on
like,
the
in-
clock.
That's a long time for the Leafs. The Leafs have probably scored 3 goals in that amount of time. Like they've scored, like it was like 9 seconds between goals. Like just like I don't know, it was like 9 games ago or something. I forget, but yeah, like it's not unlikely for this team. I will say this team scores less goals than ever as a squad in every other year. So I mean, it's less likely this year than it had been like last year. But I do think, yeah, like the best strategy was not to pull the goalie there. I just think it's more of a fuck it situation. It's just like, whatever. Like, that's how it felt to me. I'm not saying it's the best decision.
Throw
but,
in the
yeah.
towel, like I don't
I
know.
want to
it feels-
look back when Patrick Waugh pulled the goalie. How much time is on the clock? Because it was similar, I think, like maybe 6 minutes.
I think it was around 5. It was
5.
about 5.
Yeah,
Oh, I thought it was
that's
way more than that.
reasonable.
Yeah, that seems a little more reasonable. Down by 3
Yeah,
or 4.
8.
It was
Yeah.
crazy at the time, though. Like, I remember it
Yeah.
happening. Everyone
He-
was like, what?
He changed the game big time.
Yep.
Yeah,
In many ways.
Maybe
Yeah.
Craig Berube just changed the game. We're gonna see like they're
No,
skated out onto the ice in the
has to
third
work.
period. There's no goalie. There's 6 skaters.
If it had worked, then like definitely it would increase the time, but it didn't work,
Like,
so I don't think
it's
anyone else is
insane.
trying it. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
it didn't work, and I don't think it will ever work. All right, we got to talk about Hildeby. Hildeby makes me nervous. Hildeby isn't ready.
Mm-mm.
He had 4 goals on 14 shots tonight, and the 5th one was shortly after. Didn't have a big workload. He swims all over the place. It is really tough. Like, I thought this guy was supposed to have it together. He looked good in the preseason, but the more we see him, the less I like him. And the more I want Matt Murray back, which is really saying something.
Yeah, I mean, only the best goalies in the entire world are good when they're 22. You know, like it's
Yeah.
typically 25, 26 when an average goalie becomes competent enough to be an NHL goalie. So it's way too early to be seeing this guy. I mean, Matt Murray, it doesn't help that he, I think, has 6 straight. Like, did I just send that to you guys? I think last night or the night before, or 6 straight shutout periods. I think that, like, yeah, he's coming up. And there's no question that, like, Hildeby, yes, he definitely looked way more swimmy. Is that the word? I don't know how to. He swam a lot more in his net tonight.
Yeah.
And he looks smaller than ever. Like
and it didn't
pucks
go
just-
swimmingly.
Yeah, it did not go swimmingly. But yeah. And pucks, didn't you find that he just looks small? Like for a goalie that's 6'7", for the puck to go in the net in like directly center of the net, just seems like that should never happen on a goalie like that. Like that shows that you're just way out of position, not standing up tall, not confident. So yeah, we've seen it with him for at least a little while until he plays amazing for the Marlies, and then Matt Murray stinks it up. Like otherwise, I don't think we'll see him this year. He's too young.
So apparently Stolars is back doing things.
Cool.
And as per Kipper and Bourne, watching the show, hearing this, he's doing things, which means he's not just skating. He's moving around. He's doing goalie things. So
Okay.
they
I
expect
thought you meant
him
he was
to
getting
come back.
groceries or something. Yeah, 'cause I didn't really know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, he took his dog for a walk, so things are getting better. Like, no. No. He is on the ice and doing goalie activities, and they do expect him to play before the Four Nations.
Oh, wow. See, I was just kind of thought if you got close to it, it would be after regardless. Same as Tavares. But I mean, that's great to hear. Because like as well as Matt Murray's been playing, I don't want to see that guy in net. I'm not sure about you, but
No.
I'm done with Matt Murray as far as that's concerned. So the sooner he's back, the better. And I just hope that he can return to what he looked like before. Because just having two of these goalies, Wall and Stolars, like that's the dream scenario. And it just seems like, have we had 10 games, like maybe 15 of them both being healthy, you know? So I guess that's why you have two, but yeah, it'd be nice to have our tandem back.
Remember us at the beginning of the season laughing? Ha ha ha, we could
Yeah.
trade a goalie. We're so good. We have Dennis
Yeah.
Hildeby. We're fine. Things are great. And all of a sudden we're like, oh shit. Oh
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, but I
So
always
let's
go
talk
back
about-
to like if most goalies or most teams with a number one goalie, like they're one injury away from having like a pretty bad goalie. Like we are at least one goalie shy of having a great tandem, but we still have one good goalie. You know, it's just that like you can't run him out there every night, and so you got to put up a stinker every once in a while. Most backups are not amazing.
I'm sure there are other factors, but like, look at Boston. Look at how that's affected them. A lot of their losses have come on Korpisalo games.
Right. Yeah. I mean, but the Swayman has not played the same. He is not the same
he's also
goalie as
not
he
been
was last
great
year.
either.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But like, you know, like a lot of, it's the same thing. Like, you know, you go from having two great goalies to not having good goalies at all.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Matthew Nyes. Did you see that? Like, I didn't even actually see it on the camera. It was so fast. I had to catch it afterwards, what actually happened to him. He went to run in for a check and got hit and landed on his ass and then left, and he's gone. Did you see anything more than that? Like, I didn't see where he hit or where he hurt, or did he limp, or?
You know, I know that like you normally can rely on me to pick a play in a game, and I have seen it. You know, I think this might be the first time in our podcast history. I don't know. Didn't see it. Haven't seen a highlight of it. I didn't see it during the play.
I saw a highlight.
I didn't.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. I have nothing to add other than like I really hope he's okay. Because like what a shitty game to lose Matthew Nyes in, especially when he's been playing so well.
Yeah, he's been on fire. All right. Well, do you have anything else to say before we wrap this one up? A shitty game, terrible game.
Can I just show this video? It's
You go right ahead.
It's
Yeah.
the
My only last thing is
stick.
about the other team's
Goalie
coach.
stick.
So yeah, let's see.
look at that.
Yeah, that's the picture.
Right?
Look, that's
And
a
then-
hockey card.
And look at that. He's got the hand like on the thick part of the blade and right in stride too, like a couple
Yeah.
strides with it. He goes, he's like, yeah, okay, yep, good. And then goes to swing the hand down and yeah, hits the thick part of the stick. That would
That's
feel
so
so
good.
funny. Yeah.
It would, yeah.
That's
Like that doesn't even
amazing.
fit in your glove, so
No.
I can say, yeah. Yeah, that's so good.
Fantastic.
My only other
All
thing
right,
for
go-
tonight is Dean Everson, the most pissed off looking man of all time. And he almost was that's the runner up basically for the Leafs coach. And then, he goes to Columbus after he doesn't get this job. So it would have been hilarious to watch Dean Everson be so pissed off every single night watching William Nylander play hockey. Like, that guy just has the stankiest looking face I've ever seen. And so, yeah, every time they showed him, like, and I've never seen that guy actually happy, like it's the funniest thing. Some coaches to me just stand out. He's one of them. Pissed off face.
Do you think that Dean Evison would have been better or different for the Leafs than what Craig Berube's done? I mean, I was just thinking, hasn't he done something very similar to the Blue Jackets like Berube's done with the Leafs? The Leafs were a perennial get into the playoff team, but never, up in first. Also, we've had a few years now where like people have just ran away with it, and that isn't happening this year. It's tighter, which is nice. But also, he took Columbus from being absolute dog shit, and they're a wild card team.
Yeah. It would have been different. There's no question. I think Berube is way more of a player's coach. Their styles are pretty similar though. And I think that Columbus is a good team to have a coach like that. I think certain squads, probably the lower the skill level, the more that they benefit from a Berube or Everson style of play. And so, I actually like a lot of the players on Columbus, Marchenko and Olivier and Werenski, Fantilli, obviously. Like, those are some good players, some big bodies, some fast skaters. So, I think he has done a really good job there. And I think the Leafs just needed a change. I think that I would have going to be happy with both. I wanted Berube as the coach, but I think that what's on the ice probably would have looked similar, but behind the scenes, I think that Berube is a different type of coach than Everson is.
Yeah. Well, there you go. All right. Now we wrap.
Yes.
Let's wrap this bitch up.
Bye-bye.
Leafs lose 4-1, 5-1. I don't even know. I don't even care. We're going to forget this one. We're going to take this one. We're going to lock it away. Put that with all my other suppressed memories.
Yeah, burn the tape. The only tape you need is at hockeyfights.com.
Hockeyfights.com. Yeah, check that out. That was a pretty good fight. For now, that's a wrap. Thanks for joining us for Split the Defense Leafs post game, presented by Laforest Electrical Contractors, serving Kingston and the surrounding area since 2004. Now, leave us a comment if you haven't already. Hit that like button on your way out of here and subscribe to YouTube for us. You can listen to us in podcast form very, very soon. I'm working on that. Very soon. Until next time, peace.
Later.
Follow the boys on Twitter at STDPWebby, at Craig D. Pearce, and at Ted_is_show.